Hello, it's Crypto CJ. It's the Trade of the Day Monday night Zoom edition, and it's President's Day, so attendance is down a bit, but that's all right. I'm still rocking my Bitcoin shirt. Heh. Pretty good performance for Bitcoin over the weekend, still hanging around that 24.5 to 25K range. Let's go to the charts. Okay, should be seeing my, oh, I didn't want to do that. My Bitcoin day chart. All right. So this is what I was talking about. We're hanging around the top of the range that we established over the summer. We had this 24.5 area a couple times, and it's proving to be some pretty strong resistance. Actually, this day candle just closed, so at about 24.8 looks like. So perhaps tomorrow, later on tonight, or tomorrow will close over 25K, and most prognosticators think 28K and 30 would be next. All this is good news for those of us seeking Bitcoin and altcoin pumps. So I think that describes
Jay,
most
can
of
I
us.
just ask you a question?
Okay.
When you come in and look at the chart like this, do you always come in and look at the day on the day time frame first? Is that like a standard thing that you do?
No, not in day trading. It's a standard thing I do to talk about the market overall on these. I used to do more long-term looks. I used to look more at the hour chart and the 4-hour chart. Um, and I probably should. I generally know what this information is before, before 5 p.m. on a Monday. So, because I've looked at, a couple charts, I've looked at some news articles and things like that, but I don't go to the day chart right away. I'm more inclined to look at an hour or 4-hour chart first. If I see something interesting in the 5 minute and I can see resistance and support, um, then I'm usually content with that. But I probably should be better at looking at longer term time frames. I just don't always remember to do that. And I've gotten away, I did a video about, I think about a year and a half ago about what my day's like, and I've kind of gotten away with that, away from it during the bear market because some of those um, tasks really weren't relevant anymore. But I should probably get back to more, um, some more routine on that,
Yeah, because
especially if I'm testing something.
one of the mistakes I often make is I'm in a really tight or low time frame, and I think it's at the top of a Bollinger Band or something, and then I'll take the trade, and then I'll take a wider view and see that it's actually in the longer term, it's actually at the total wrong place.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
I like to look at bigger time frames first, get an idea of where the coin is in that realm first, and then zoom in.
Yeah, it's a good idea to look at a longer time frame. And I usually do. If I'm trading on the 15-minute, I'll look at an hour or 4-hour chart. But I don't always look at the day chart or really very often. And that's probably a good idea. I want to look at this Ethereum chart because I just took an Ethereum trade. And I did that on the 15-minute chart because I took a short because I saw that there was action down here in this range recently. So I thought my short could easily drop down and hit that. And that's really all I did on it. In retrospect, I probably should have looked at the hour. And the conclusion would have been the same. There's, my trade, I was only seeking 1% move on the chart, would have hit in multiple places here on this 1-hour chart, on the 4-hour chart as well. So even though I didn't do that, I probably should have. It would have worked in my favor. But there are times, like Craig says, where you can look at the 1 hour and you think you're getting in at a good spot on, on the 5 or the 15, but on the 1 hour, it's maybe a bad spot. And a lot of swing traders trade on the hour charts. So it's a good idea to have in mind what they might do as well. And that, if you're not quite sure on whether you want to go in the trade or not, that information on the larger time frame could sway you one way or the other. All right, thanks for speaking up about that. And again, on the range, we're right at the top of it, hoping for a breakthrough on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, we're still towards the middle top, where the range is pretty easy to identify. It's between about $1,000 and $2,000 since last summer. August, it's the last time we were around 2,000, and we seem to be heading that way again. We're having trouble breaking through 1,700. 1,700 seems to be to Ethereum as 25K is to Bitcoin right now. It's probably going to take some effort to break through, but once it does, there's a little bit of resistance here at 1,770, give or take. And but then after that, we're in pretty good shape going to 2,000.
There's actually a lot of resistance right there at 17.
Yeah, definitely.
There's horizontal, but there's also a downtrend from way back last 21, I think it was. And then there's also an uptrend that actually started way back in 18.
Well, I'm not going back that far.
Well, no, it's just a trend. It's an upward trend and they're all meeting right there. And actually, that's why it's pretty much going sideways right there. I got it charted out if you'd want to see that.
Sorry, I was distracted. Yeah, here's the weekly chart.
No, it's actually on a daily chart that I got it.
Okay, I'm not quite. All right, I'm on the daily now. So
from this point, your high point here to this point, to your next high point, if you draw a line from there to there, it keeps on coming.
Actually, do you have that on a chart in front of you that you can share?
Yeah, I do.
All right, hang on a second. All right, instead of me trying to recreate what you're doing, why don't you go ahead and
okay,
go ahead and post or share that.
Okay, this is it right here.
Okay.
Here's our horizontal. This actually starts from way back here.
Okay, so you're going with diagonal trend lines.
Correct.
Okay.
And this is the one I was just talking about. It actually starts way back here.
Okay.
Comes off of that, hits, but it's amazing how many times that it's been bouncing off here. Look at all this right here as resistance, and there's a bunch of horizontal, more comes back, retests it, breaks through it. The support, then it's pretty much a resistance, comes back here. And I got a feeling what might happen is it's going to come down and fill this gap in right here, this volume gap.
Right around 15.
13. It's between 13 and
not revolve
15. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, look at how just bouncing right off of that. Boom, boom. Comes down, tested the 1497 resistance right here.
Okay.
Went back up. Now it's just fighting back and forth. Doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to break it, but a good chance that it's not. It's going to just come right down this trend line. But time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways to chart long-term movement on the charts, and this is the way Dennis likes to do. I've seen a lot of traders use these kind of diagonal trend lines. I've dabbled with them off and on myself. I prefer the straight lines, support and resistance. It's a little simpler. I think there's a lot of With the diagonals, there's some interpretation that, makes it more arbitrary in my mind, but I like what Dennis has done here. It's pretty good stuff. So, all right. Well, thank you for that.
No problem.
We've gone a little bit long on the overall market, but I'll throw it open one more. Does anybody else want to chime in on this before we look at Altcoin Alert and see if we can find some trades? I need to kick Dennis off. Nothing personal. And let's go to Altcoin Alert. All right. Since we bounced around there some, you guys seeing my Altcoin Alert page?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I've got see, Steve is new, so I'll go through the beginning. When you first log into Altcoin Alert, you'll see something like this. I don't care for this view. I want all the information. I'm more interested in the chart than I am necessarily, the news on the side there. So I click on the altcoin radar and I get all this information, and I'm going to sort by some of these columns. First column I usually sorts the AA score. We've got the Raven coin here at 78.7. I prefer a value of 80 or higher, but what this value is telling us is there's a 78.7 chance that Raven will go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So pretty good odds. I will look at those in the high 70s from time to time. We've got Solana here as well. We'll go ahead and look at Raven though. All right, this is my basic chart. I've got Bollinger Band set at the 50. This is the upper Bollinger Band. This is the lower Bollinger Band. This line in the middle is the SMA line, simple moving average. First thing I usually do is go to the 5-minute chart to see if I can find a 1, 2, 3 dip pattern as we speak. And it happens about once a month on my program where there's a 1, 2, 3 dip actually happening. We don't really have that today, but we do have what could be the beginning of a dip sequence. This red candle just broke through. We don't have a bubble yet here on the Bollinger Bands. Let's see if I can find an example of a 1, 2, 3 dip. I'm not really seeing one. So that's sort of one, but we don't have there's no squeeze and then bubble. That's what we're looking for, squeeze and then bubble. So I think on this one, I would want to set a price alert probably around here, 3.28 cents, and then reevaluate. Or you could go a little bit, go farther down on the chart to down here about 3.2 cents. And I also see support right here, about 3.18 cents. So these are potential entries. And I'll draw lines on these real quick since we have some new folks here. By support is where I see multiple touches, usually like 5 or more. Kind of a clump. I can think of them as a clump of candles. There's 3 touches here, a bunch of them here, where they either bounce off the line or they break through and then bounce back up pretty quickly. We have them here too. And then this line, you also have them down here. 3 or 4 touches here, a couple more here, and then again down here. Several touches here. So that. Oh, and if you want to do a price alert, you don't necessarily need that line. You can just right click on your chart, add an alert, and then I usually use the information source. Like this would be an AA score for how I name my alert. And if you want to make some adjustments in the price, you can do that here or just type it in. Oh, shoot, it's not cooperating. 0.032, maybe that's where you want to put it. So click create and and then you click your notifications. And on mine, my default is notify on the app, which is going to show pop-up. This is going to be on my desktop computer, and then and my the app on my phone, and then play a sound. And if you want to use different sounds for different alerts, I do that all the time. So I think Chirpy is the last one I used. So that's how you do a price alert. But that's not how I usually do my alerts. I like to use indicators on a 15-minute chart. So there's a couple different indicators I like to use depending on what the market's doing, whether I want to catch a trend or whether I want to be more of a contrarian and catch a dip. Let's go with the trend first. Lately, I've been using supertrend on the 15-minute chart. Gives me buy and sell signals, and I did make it more sensitive. I changed the ATR period from 10 to 5. ATR, I believe, is all-time range. I don't remember what that stands for exactly. It's something like that. And then I look at to see if if I'm going to use this, how is it done? And it looks like it's done well on the buy side. I trade both directions. I trade I'm an experienced trader, so I frequently trade leverage on usually Bybit with a VPN. So on this one, the sells didn't do very well, but the buys did really well. So that went up, almost 1%, dropped a little bit, and then made a big move up there, 4%. We love 4% trades. I'd say anything over, say, 1.5 to 2% is a good day trade. If you're on leverage, say 5x or 10x, that's even better. This sell here did okay. Dropped down, then went back up, then came down by 2%. We like that. SPY, went down first and then ended up making a nice move, as did this one. So if you want to set an alert on your super trend, you right click, or you can go over here, click these dots. Either way, you'll get this menu. I like if you're just doing buys, like if you're spot trading only, if you're starting, you should start with that. Put your buy once per bar close. We'll leave it on all day until you turn it off. It will also allow the the candle to move to the end of its duration. It won't flicker back and forth. That can happen if you use only once or once per minute. I like once per bar close. The alert name, again, that's going to be my information source. Say, hey, score purchase, then click create, and I'm good to go. Okay, if you're more experienced, you want to trade both directions, you can go with the direction change option. Everything else will be the same. So that's the super trend. I also like divergence. I have 2 divergence indicators. Divergence is a disagreement between the candle action and the indicator result, and it can have some predictive value. So you can get ahead of changes and price direction. You can see an example here where the price action was going down, but the MFI was going up. It's a money flow index. And so that one triggered here and got ahead of this price movement, and it shot up, up like that, 5%. That's a great day trade. And again, all the bullish divergences did pretty well. This particular one, divergence from many indicators, does repaint, which means it'll reposition itself as time goes by. So I use this other one, the non-repaint version as well, as a confirmation. So you can get these here click up here on your indicators. There's your super trend if you want to download that. Divergence for many indicators, version 4. There's a version 3. I think version 4 is better. I've used them both. So, and then here's my non-repaint as well. So And setting an alert on divergence is easy. Right click here, add, change it to positive if you're spot trading. Once per bar close, and again, AA score purchase. So might leave that one on. I think I will. Okay. And the last one I like to use is this stochastic RSI. When it drops down below the 20 value and then starts to come back up, that can be a good time to get in. So and that can be, you can be in a dip trade. This is sort of an easier way to find dip sequences. So here's an example here. I'll mark it with a horizontal or vertical line. So the stochastic RSI drops below 20 and starts to come back up. That would trigger right about here. And so you get in probably right about here, and it makes a really nice move up. 5%, good stuff. And let's look at some other examples. We have another cross here. That one went up. It's not cooperating. 2.4%. That's a good day trade in 3.5 hours. If you were more ambitious, say looking for a retrace to where it was before, this area, it drops first, and then you get that retrace in about 16 hours, 4.5%. That's a really good day trade. So if you want to do that type of alert, right click on your RSI or use the 3 dots here. It's stochastic RSI, not the regular RSI. Decay line is the blue line. We want that crossing up. And the value, we're going to set that at 20. And once per bar close, that's going to be my AA score. Okay. That's how you do that. And this impulse MACD is something I've been testing. I'll talk about this more in detail, probably in March, mid to late March, if it's doing well for me. So those are the options I use, some of the approaches I take when I'm looking to add alerts to my chart, so I don't have to sit here and stare at candles all day. Any questions on any of these approaches? Okay, well, I'm gonna go through the next ones faster. If you're new, go ahead and I will send you the YouTube link to this video, and you can just replay it and go through these things slower so you can comprehend them. For the sake of the more experienced traders on here who've been with me for a year or two, I'm going to zip along on some of these other options. So, all right, so that's
CJ,
great. Yes.
Before you move on, just a couple quick questions. Sorry about that. Couldn't answer. Just got home a little while ago and eating supper. But anyway, when you were talking about the restriction, or not restriction, your
Restriction RSI.
no, I'm just blanked out here for a second. Restriction or
Distance.
support and restriction.
Resistance, support, and resistance. Okay.
Yes, lines. Do you go out back farther than just what? I don't know how much length you have on your chart right there.
Yeah, that's a good question. If I see resistance right away, like let's see. Let's say I take this buy right here on the super trend. I can see resistance right here. So
you don't look back farther than that?
So that I would probably consider that. If I wanted more than that, I might go to my 30, 1 hour. 4 hour. I'm still not seeing. Yeah. So that's about as far as I'll go out looking for another area of resistance to use as an exit. Or, that's just one of the ways I look at to determine an exit.
So you don't use your short and long position tool to see where to get in, where to get out?
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, that right there. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy here.
Yep.
Yeah. For what I'm showing now, no, I don't use this. But
Okay.
when I'm trading on leverage and incorporating more stop losses, I will look at a tool like this. A lot of times I can just use the ruler and figure it out. But yeah, a lot of traders use, I forgot what it's called, but this tool to determine places to get out and what's your risk to reward management. So if I took that long and I was looking to risk 2%, see, there's right about 2% here for a stop loss, and then I want maybe to go 3 to 2, and so my exit would be here, and that's still within the very top of this last high on this chart, on this 15-minute chart. So that would be one way to do it. Hello, is there someone else? Okay. Thought I heard a hello. Anyway, does that answer your question, Dennis?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
All right, cool. All right, let's go over to Altcoin Alert. And another sort I like to use is the long-term sentiment and match that up with the Elder Impulse Daily. Now, the long-term sentiment is what people are talking about on Twitter, hence the term sentiment. You can hover over this question mark and get a better description of it. It's comparing the last 24 hours, the last 20 days. I think of this as a word on the street. The Elder Impulse is a technical indicator comparing 20 days and 50 days. So I'll click on long-term sentiment here, and I'm looking for very bullish or bullish. And I want to match that up to the Elder Impulse Daily. When I see matches, those are coins I investigate further on the chart. So you've got Sushi, CKB, VET. CKB had a pretty large move today, over 20%. I've got that chart up, so let's look at it. Okay, on the 5-minute, it's hanging around the SMA line. Not really seeing a dip sequence. I see some support right about here at this one's a really small denomination, 0.00563. Some background noise again. I gotta mute everybody. Okay. All right, CKB 5-minute. 565 here for further support, and more support down here at 522. So those are potential price alert areas. For indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart on supertrend, this buy alert's been kicked in, midnight on Sunday, and still in effect. I think it could be a little late to get in after a 40% move, but if you want to try to catch the tail end of that, it's your prerogative. It's probably a bunch of bearish divergences here. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. A few of them did okay. If you're trading leverage, if you caught this one at 3:30 in the morning, You know, it's a nice 10% move. This one, you know, about 3%. This one, probably about the same. Yeah, 3% there. So not bad. And obviously, these bullish ones did really well that kicked in before the big move up. So divergence is kind of intriguing if you want to try to scalp some profits on the way down, or is this makes adjustments on its way up? On the stochastic, let's take a quick. I think these are all going to look good because of the big move. So this one here crossed, obviously benefited from this move up. You know, double digits. That's a great day trade. And then our next movement's this one here, and kind of a big dip. What goes up first probably would have gotten out there 3%, goes down 2%, then a big move up. So that's good stuff there. And then the others are, you know, pretty similar. This one, this one, this one. All these stochastic moves are pretty good. So all these moves up look great, or you know, the indicators showing the upward trends are looking good. So you could use any of those to try to catch further moves up. But after a day like this, it could be played out. That's the risk you take when you're trying to trade a pumping coin. Any questions on CKB? Okay, let's look at one more on Altcoin Alert before we head over to iCoinPro. So that was the long-term sentiment sort. You can do something similar with the Elder Impulse Daily, match it up with the long-term sentiment. You know, Filecoin's been on a tear lately. That might be one to look at. I love Matic, so you know, and blasted above $1, and now it's nearly $1.50. So might want to check that one out too. Okay, let's another one I look at is a 24-hour change. Whoa, this Iris thing up nearly 100%. A lot of these that have made giant moves. I don't trade because I figure they're done. But again, if you want to catch the end, you can try to do that. So I'm looking at this sort. I'm looking for about 8 to 12%, give or take, depending on the market. This Alpha Finance is intriguing. I've traded that before. Yeah, let's look at that. See if that's on my list. No. Okay, you can find it on KuCoin, BitGet, and then Binance if you're in the UK or New Zealand. All right, 5-minute chart on Alpha. Really squeezy. There, yeah, less than 2%. I don't like that at all. Trying to show you a 1, 2, 3 dip. I'm not seeing a recent version of one. Okay, I'm seeing support right about here, 0.1475. Again here at 1.145, and then again down here about 0.135. So those are potential price alerts. And there you go. Let's get over to the 15-minute on the indicators. Supertrend. The buy alerts are about every other one. This one went down a little bit, then shot up here. The sell alert did okay. You know, almost 3%. You stayed in, it goes against you, and then makes this move 5%. That's a really good day trade on the short side. If you're spot trading, if you took the buy here, goes against about 6%. You can either wait it out or make another purchase down here, what I call a ladder buy, some call dollar cost averaging, and then catch it back on the way up. That's a really good strategy in a market that's mostly trending up. So lately on most of my buys, using this layout, I've been ladder buying on my longs and using a stop loss on my shorts. So I think it's mostly kept me out of trouble. So that's the super trend. And a quick reminder, if you want to do an alert, right click. You got the buy, once per bar close. And this is our 24-hour sort. When you type in an alert name, TradingView usually remembers it, so you can just click on it if you can remember what it starts with. And click create, and you're good to go. Okay, that's the super trend. On divergence, the bullish ones did pretty well. Yeah, this one here. 2.5%, and there's a drop, another move up. Yeah, that would have been profitable. Looks like the bearish ones did pretty well. 5% move down. This one would have been a loser. Actually the next 4 would have been losers, so probably would have been stopped out on those, but the bullish ones did pretty well. And then stochastic. This move here would have done well. This move here would have done well. This one here would have gone against us and then eventually did well. I think you get the point. So all these stochastic they've done pretty well in this chart. Okay. Well, that's about all I have for Altcoin Alert. We went through 3 different sorts that I like to use. Any questions on Alpha or anything else on Altcoin Alert before we head over to iCoinPro?
Yeah, CJ, Ollie here.
Hey, Ollie.
Go back to Saturday about 1800. If you notice, the RSI is above the 80 line and the K line dipping down. The signal line on the iMac is flat, yet it pumped.
Yeah, it's not going to predict everything, or
yeah, it's just sort of confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, and this looks like a random movement. I mean, it pumped crazy and then dropped even more.
Yeah,
so this is some whale
that is
accumulating
nuts.
this, and no chart's going to be able to predict random stuff like this.
But like you said, the RSI about 4 hours earlier did cross the K line did cross.
Yeah,
and it did predict that move up.
Yeah, and a more normal move would have been something like this. This towards a 182%, and then maybe up here, and then if you got out here, that would be a reasonable thing to do. It'd be difficult to predict something like this. There's nothing, back here showing you that fundamentally or technically actually this kind of thing would happen. So
yeah, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it is when random stuff like this happens. And then people, who subscribe to Altcoin Alert are like, oh, why can't it predict this? And there's just no way to predict this unless there was a news event or something that came out on the on the Slack group. But news events don't happen on the weekends very often. So
First, if you look at the inputs MACD, the K line, I mean the blue line did start to pump about that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that could have been a predictor right there.
Yeah.
Even though the RSI was above 80.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not a deal breaker necessarily. because sometimes it'll break above 80 and just stay here for a while. Here's an
Yeah.
example of that. It was here above the 80 from 1915 to, it was up there for 4 hours. So, in trending up most of that time. So that's why I like the cross to use that for my signal. All right,
Well,
good
I can't
observation.
wait for
I
you to talk more about the impulse MACD because I'm intrigued by that indicator. I've
Yeah,
watched a couple of videos on it today.
yeah, I use it today on the 5-minute chart. And it didn't do very well, but it looked good on the 15. So I'm gonna start using it on the 15 and see if it does better.
I noticed on one of your charts you had drawn a couple lines to eliminate the minor breakouts.
Yep, that's the training I sent you, but we're not quite ready to talk about that yet.
All right, I know.
Appreciate you
All
looking
right,
at.
sorry.
All right, I love your enthusiasm. So, okay, let's. If there's nothing else on Altcoin Alert, we'll head over to iCoinPro. Okay. iCoinPro is the home of the 1, 2, 3 dip training that most of you have watched at some time. I usually send that link out. If you're interested in day trading and piling up, 1, 2, 3% wins, I think this is a great way to conservatively approach day trading. And you can use some of their training concepts with Altcoin Alert information. iCoinPro provides information as well. We're going to, on potential trades, we're going to go through that now. There's two information sources within iCoinPro I like to look at. One is the RSI SPY, and the other is the Buddy Coin Crawler. And it also has this Fear and Greed Index we're going to look at real quick. Hey, we're into greed. Love it. Greed is good, says Gordon Gekko. If you haven't seen Wall Street from 1986, you should. But I digress. Let's see. On the RSI SPY, I'm sorting by the 1 hour. I'm looking for values 30 and lower, because when the RSI is at 30, that's considered oversold, and that can be due for a recovery, a good setup for a dip trade. No guarantees, but that's the common wisdom. And since the market has been trending up most of the day today, we don't really have any values in below 30 except this Bitcoin pair and something I've never heard of on Binance. I wish there was a way to exclude Bitcoin pairs because I don't trade those, but there isn't. So I just kind of look at the next one. And the next one's Ion at 33.2. That's a little higher than I want to look at. So I'm not really seeing anything in here I want to look at on the long side. I could go short on these, but for things that are overbought and try to short those. I do that frequently using this tool, but don't really have time to talk about shorts today. So we're not going to look at that. But the RSI SPY, long or short, can be a good way to find a potential dip or pump trades to go the other direction, to be the contrarian. I like being contrarian. Doesn't always serve me well, but that's how I learned. So the other tool I like is the Buddy Coin Crawler. In iCoinPro, a Buddy Coin is one that you've evaluated and that you want to follow throughout the day. There's also where is it? I haven't looked at it today. There's a forum here through iCoinPro, and Justin, the co-creator of this, will talk about what his Buddy Coins are. You can either follow his or choose your own. Click on this forum real quick. Yeah. Are you guys seeing this forum page? All right.
Yes, we are.
All right, thanks. When I click open a new window, sometimes it shows up on the share, sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, here's Justin talking about his analysis, and then he says my buds, these are my buddy coins. These are ones he's following, and he trades on Coinbase. So ACH blur and file are what he's following today as of 8:51. He lives in Florida, so that's Eastern time. So that's kind of a cool tool to have if you're just starting out. I like to make my own decisions on such things. So I'm going to sort the Buddy coin crawler by the average low to SMA. The low is the 24-hour low. The SMA is that red line you've seen between my Bollinger Bands on my charts. Looking for values 4% or higher. It tells me coin has room to move. There's quite a few of those because we've been pumping lately. I was looking at this one, Alchemy Pay, ACH. Yeah, I've got that here. But you can click on this drop-down menu. And click on Trading View, and it'll take you to the 5-minute chart of whatever you click on. So anyway, I already have this ACH open on the 5-minute. It broke above the top of the Bollinger Band, so it's trending up. I don't really see a dip trade opportunity here. If you want to try to catch a retrace, there's some support here.
Isn't that starting to look like a reverse dip?
Maybe.
It's opening. It's not a
1,
long.
2, 3. Yeah, if you hit Alt-I on your keyboard, it'll inverse the. Now this looks like a dip trade. You know, it squeezes in and bubbles out. There's a dip here, 1, 2. It doesn't hit the SMA line, so this is still in play. 3. And then, you know, you'd catch this up to maybe the SMA line here, which is 12%. That's a really good day trade. But this isn't reality because I just did the inverse function. So, so what Craig's talking about is trading this on a short. You have 1, 2, 3 pump. I've got a red candle printing here. You might want to short this if you're a leverage trader. You know, maybe come down here to the SMA line. You know, or down here where the support is. You know, 12 to 15%. It's a great day trade, but it's risky. You know, I'd suggest using a stop loss because it might just dip down a little bit, then shoot up again. So that's a risk you take on that. Okay, so that's the 5-minute chart. On the 15, if we want to use our indicator alerts, our super trend, the buy did really well, the sell did not. And we have buy all the way back here from Saturday at 1 a.m. So yeah, this one's just pumping kind of like crazy. So is it played out? Could be. Again, if you're going to short it, use a stop loss. On the divergence, we'll probably see a lot of bearish ones. I'm actually seeing these bullish ones did really well. We haven't had one since 9 a.m. this morning. And we did go against us. Probably would ladder buy here, or if you're on 10x leverage, you get liquidated if you didn't. So ladder buy here, and then boom, big move up, kind of like that. I think I'm going to set that alert. All right, right click, divergence. I want positive divergence, once per bar close. And I got this from Buddy coin crawler. And I am in, that's my alert. All right. So that's divergence on the RSI. I think we're going to see what we've seen in some of these other coins that the crosses down and then back up did really well. You know, that one did well, obviously, from Saturday night. This one here crossed and did well from Sunday at midnight. Then we've got, you know, multiple. This one, the nice thing about this trending up is it's dipping too, and you can get in on those dips. You know, here's another cross. So I really like what the RSI stochastic is doing in this market. So when in doubt, set both alerts. So I'm going to set an alert here. Add an alert on stochastic RSI. I want the K line to be crossing up on the 20 value. once per bar close, and that's my buddy coin crawler. And I got an alert on ACH. Okay, I went through that pretty quick. Any questions on ACH?
Can you look at the 5-minute again real quick?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still looking at
Impulse still shows
the
it.
impulse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I didn't really like the impulse in the 5-minute. So I thought it looked, at least anecdotally, looked pretty good on the 15. See, it caught this move here. You know, caught this move down after a kind of, you know, went down and so this is intriguing. I'll be testing this for the next few weeks. I'm gonna start tomorrow on the 15-minute chart. But I digress, and we're running along. So I got to wrap this up
Can I
here.
just make a
Unless
comment
Craig
here,
has something.
CJ?
Go ahead.
I was listening to a webinar yesterday, and ACH falls into what it was talking about, and it was about Chinese coins, or coins that Chinese have a lot of influence on, and
Okay.
ACH was one of them, and they are pumping. So any coins with it, particularly China, but they're not restricted to China, Korean and so on. And it doesn't mean necessarily coins they've created, but coins that they have a lot of interest in. And,
Okay, so that Asian traders are interested in.
Yeah.
Specifically
and,
Chinese or all Asians? Like you said, Korean.
Well, particularly Chinese, but he did say there was one of the coins that he highlighted was Korean.
Yeah,
But yes,
I saw
Asians
something like that too. China's not very good at banning crypto. Yeah.
Well, apparently they've
unbanned it.
opened up again in Bitcoin or something, and that's partly what's creating this pump. And the advice was to create a watch list in TradingView so that you could watch those coins. And I just see ACH was one of them. So it's pumping now, and it could keep pumping.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that. Asian interest coins.
I'll share my list with you if you like.
That would be better. I'd love to steal other people's work. I'm not proud. So yeah, Craig, you could share that in the chat, or you could email it to me and I'll share it with my list. I think everyone on here is on my list. So
just try and find how to do that. That's all.
Okay.
Now it's possible.
Yeah, you should be able to copy the link and put it in the chat.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't take a short on that coin right now.
Well, it did have some nice drops though. I mean, they were 5 to 10% drops. So that's intriguing. But yeah, you gotta cover yourself with the stop loss on that. It might just be wise, as you said, to avoid that. And you know, I set the alerts on the long side on that. I didn't set any short alerts on it. All right, well, Craig, why don't you go ahead and email that to me, or post it in one of our Telegram groups.
It's in the chat now.
I see it now. All right.
I've never done that before, so I just had to learn how to do it.
All right. Chinese's coins. Interesting. Quite a few. Well, not that many.
No, it's about 10.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple in there like Bitcoin and ETH that you just should be watching anyway.
Right. I just grabbed that link and threw it over. All right.
Looks like I've got Bitcoin in there twice.
Yeah.
One might be US. Oh no, sorry. It's different view.
Actually, I should show this. We're hopelessly over, so at this point, I don't care. All right, you guys should be seeing my trading view with the Chinese's coins. So this is the list.
Yeah, there's 18 of them.
Yeah, if you want to screenshot it, you can do that as well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, thanks for that, Craig. If you're watching on, I got to wrap this up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Please check the pinned comment in the as it helps fund this channel. If you're in Carbon, stick around. We'll do that Zoom next. If you're not in Carbon and you're heading out, thanks for showing up. We'll see you on Friday. Have a good one.